Well, hello everyone and happy Thursday. It is digital host AJ Wuest here, welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I take you through 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 p.m. newscast. Wherever you're watching right now, whether that is on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, of course, thanks as always for watching and spending just a little of your Thursday afternoon with me here. Now, let's jump into some of today's top stories. And starting things off in Huntsville, where a man was arrested yesterday for allegedly setting an apartment on fire. Now, according to police officers, they were dispatched to Old Monrovia Road early yesterday morning for a fire that started in an apartment. Officials say no one was inside the apartment and the fire was quickly put out. But police say evidence was found inside the building, which led them to believe the fire was sparked by a former boyfriend of the victim. This led police to 29-year-old Adrian Stevens, who was later arrested and charged with first-degree arson. Stevens remains in the Madison County Jail. And now let's head over to Jackson County, where a firefighter and his family have been displaced after a house fire at his Higdon home yesterday. Tri-Community Station 2 firefighter Gary Blevins lost his home in a fire yesterday. Officials say donations are currently being accepted to support Blevins and his family at this time. And 48's Noah Cowell is there today. He will have details coming up in our evening newscasts. And now in Morgan County, where the sexual abuse trial of a former pastor wrapped up this afternoon. Danny Pitts, who you are currently seeing on screen, he is the former pastor of Grace Point Church in Decatur. He was charged with two counts of sodomy after two accusers came forward. Today, he was found guilty of second-degree sodomy. He is currently being held at the Morgan County Jail without bond until his sentencing on December 11th. Pitts is also facing charges in Tennessee for sexual battery and statutory rape. His trial for that is currently set for November. But now, I think it is about that time for Crime Stoppers. Let's take a look at who 48's Gina Benitez and Huntsville Police need your help stopping this week.
This week, we have a case that started as a theft, then became a breaking and entering case, and now this guy is wanted for fraudulent use of a debit card.
Police say last month, this guy stole a backpack from the Sleep-In and Suites on University Drive. Investigators believe he then broke into the victim's car and then used their debit card at multiple locations. If you recognize him, call Huntsville Police. Truman White is charged with leaving the scene of an accident with injuries, and police say he made a not-so-nice gesture as he drove away after the wreck. Police say Anita Gardner stabbed her boyfriend at a local hotel. She's wanted for aggravated assault. And Cassandra Enzer is wanted for first-degree theft of property. Investigators say she stole some $24,000 worth of jewelry from a 103-year-old while cleaning her home. It's easy to earn up to $1,000 if you recognize any of these people. Just call 256-53-CRIME or add a tip to P3 Tips. That's an app you can download from the App Store. You can also text or email your tips. For more information, visit the Crime Stoppers link on our website, WAFF.com.
Well, thank you, Gina. And of course, we got to talk about the weather. 48 First Alert meteorologist Chelsea Aaron is here with the latest forecast. How's the weather looking as we head into the weekend, Chelsea?
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for having me today, AJ. It is another sunny and unseasonably warm October day across the Tennessee Valley. Live look at Decatur, where we don't even have a cloud in the sky, and current temperatures are ranging about 10 degrees from where they should be. Upper 70s, lower and middle 80s here in Huntsville, right at 83 degrees, and we did have a weak cold front that moved through overnight and into this morning, but really the only thing it did was shift our winds winds back out of the north. Now winds will be fairly light as we head throughout the rest of your evening and overnight hours, with light winds and clear skies expected. Some areas of patchy fog will be possible before you head out the door on Friday. Expect overnight lows to be cool in the lower and middle 50s, but just like today and days in the past, we're going to heat up quite quickly. Friday, we have a chance to possibly near a record or even break it, with high temperatures climbing into the middle and upper 80s and still looking at 80s for the upcoming weekend on Saturday. But our next fall cold front will bring a slight cool down by the time we head into Sunday. Model guidance still trying to hint at some isolated shower activity ahead of this frontal boundary, but unfortunately, many, if any of you, are likely not going to see a drop of rain, so we've left rain chances completely out of the forecast. Expect clear skies overnight Saturday and into Sunday. Overnight lows upper 50s, lower 60s, with high temperatures dropping back into the middle and upper 70s by Sunday afternoon. We will keep the slightly cooler weather into the beginning of your next work and school week, but yes, high temperatures warming back into the 80s likely by Wednesday and as we get closer to your Halloween holiday.
You're the best. Thank you, Chelsea. And now a story in case you missed it. Major improvements are coming to MCC and Jeff Road. That, of course, is the intersection where a 3-car collision occurred just a few days ago, causing one of the cars to crash into a daycare center. 48's Nick Ballinger recently spoke with one Madison County resident who says the improvements are long overdue.
Linda Shaquille has lived at the corner of MCC and Jeff Road for 18 years.
I've made more 911 calls than I care to know about.
That's where just yesterday a 3-vehicle collision caused this truck to fly into the daycare across the street.
I won't say that is the worst one that I've saw, but that was kind of devastating to see.
Shaquille has seen and heard every car accident at this intersection because it's only feet from her door.
It's terrifying because each time I knew exactly what it was. You know, the clicking and the clamping of the metal together.
The intersection is just a 2-way stop. She says sometimes on the busy roads, drivers forget there's even a stop at all.
People that's coming up MCC Road, I don't think they're aware of the stop sign there. Here on the corner, went airborne and flipped. We had one to sit right here in the center of my yard. They're in this ditch out here, and there's been several in the driveway.
Shaquille and her neighbors took their concerns directly to Madison County commissioners.
So now that it's had a couple more accidents, even without the one yesterday, we realized that it needed something to be done.
County Commissioner Phil Vandiver says there's plans to install a roundabout at the intersection. He says the county has already started purchasing property to start construction. The right-of-way purchase even extends to Shaquille's property, who supports a roundabout.
And the way they separate cars, I just think they're safer. And when you have a traffic light, that doesn't eliminate accidents.
Now, she's only left with one question.
How soon?
Yeah.
Because we want to be proactive. We're not talking about years out. We need to be effective now.
Well, thank you, Nick. And the Huntsville community has now gathered enough support for a brand new greenway on Montesano. With contributions from the city, various businesses and groups, the Land Trust of North Alabama reached its fundraising goal of over $500,000 ahead of the October deadline. According to the Land Trust, the Tollgate Greenway will offer a safe route for both hikers and bikers on the mountainside. The new greenway will follow Huntsville's Tollgate Road and will stretch over to Bankhead Parkway within Montesano State Park. Some super exciting stuff there. And now in a little state news, where officials are warning you to watch out for Medicare scams, especially this time of year during open enrollment. According to AARP, scammers often pretend to be Medicare agents or insurance providers. Scammers will typically involve free gifts or unrealistic deals, and they might also even claim Medicare is now issuing a new card that needs updated information. Brady Talbert with WBRC recently spoke with AARP Alabama spokesperson Jamie Harding on the recent string of Medicare scams.
And this happens a lot. We've heard from folks who keep getting sent, for instance, boxes of COVID tests that they never ordered, or other medical devices that they never ordered that are being sent to them, billed to their Medicare because somebody got a hold of their Medicare number, and they're making money off of this.
Well, thank you. And now another story in state news. According to newly released numbers from the Alabama Department of Public Health, 391 infant babies died in the year of 2022. Even with that number lower than the previous year, it still weighs heavy on the minds of those parents. Lily O'Brien with WTVY reports on the Cleared to Crib Challenge.
Infant mortality. It's a tragedy nobody wants to face, but hundreds do every year.
Well, the sad part is it can happen to anyone.
The last time the ADPH reported numbers on infant mortality was in 2022.
We were down. We were better than we had been before. We had improved our infant mortality.
Even with a decrease in deaths, it's still heavy on the minds of parents. Amy McAfee is the state perinatal program manager with ADPH. She says there's a couple leading causes of infant deaths in Alabama.
And the first one is congenital malformations. And as we know, there's really not a whole lot we can do about that.
The second leading cause is sleep-related.
So we can do something about that.
This is where the hashtag #ClearTheCrib social media challenge comes in. It clarifies what a safe crib environment looks like and promotes safe sleep for babies.
Safe sleep comes with what the ADPH calls the ABCs of sleep. A is for alone, on their B, back, in AC, crib.
All pillows, loose blankets, bumper pads, stuffed animals, and even baby hats should be removed for a baby to sleep safely. Cribs like these are risky and wouldn't pass the test. To complete the timed challenge, you have to remove unsafe items and safely position a doll, which represents a baby.
We have a phrase that we like to use that's share your room, not your bed. Put them in their beds by themselves, but in your room.
Reducing risky environments, she says, can keep Alabama on the right track, decreasing infant mortality.
Well, thank you, Lily. And now with Election Day just 12 days away, both candidates are racing to the finish line. Vice President Harris, appearing at a CNN town hall overnight, called former President Trump unstable, unfit to serve, and a fascist, while Trump in battleground Georgia ramped up his attacks too. Our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson, has the latest. Hallie?
With 12 days until Election Day, former President Donald Trump on attack.
Our country is being destroyed and crippled by Kamala Harris, a person that got no votes. Therefore, she's a threat to democracy.
That's as former Trump officials and the Harris campaign highlighted why they see him as an existential threat after Mr. Trump's former chief of staff, General John Kelly, told the New York Times earlier this week, Mr. Trump falls into the general definition of fascist. Vice President Kamala Harris responding at a CNN town hall.
He's just putting out a 911 call to the American people.
Mr. Trump blasting Kelly as tough and dumb, saying he made up a story out of pure Trump derangement syndrome. The vice president asked directly,
do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
And later reiterating that when asked about voters who might consider a third party because of the Biden administration's handling of the war in Gaza.
For many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries. They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist.
Mr. Trump, for his part, ramping up the rhetoric.
You have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that, Kamala, you've done a horrible job. You're the worst ever.
At the town hall, the vice president also pressed on immigration, asked about her past comments calling a border wall stupid when funding for a wall is part of a compromise bill the vice president often touts.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't.
It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur,
So
Anderson.
you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense.
Well, thank you. And now in sports, do I even need to say it? A brand new episode of Beyond the Lights Athens drops tonight wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. And of course, before Beyond the Lights, 48's Camder will be bringing you the Week 9 week preview of all the great local high school football games going on. And speaking of Cam, yesterday she spoke with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor ahead of the Magic City Classic in Birmingham this Saturday. Take a listen.
We are 3 days away from kicking off the Magic City Classic here in Birmingham, and joining me is the head coach of none other than the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, Coach Connell Maynor. Coach, big game this weekend. What do you got to say about just the rivalry itself? It's such a huge game across the state.
It is. It's a huge game. The rivalry is unmatched. The games are always close. This will be my 7th one playing the Magic City Classic, and we've been 3 overtimes. Last play of the game, last play in the game twice. So the rivalry is just unmatched. There's just so many great things about this game to bring our guys together for both institutions and our young men, and we just blessed to be a part of it.
Now, Alabama State, they've taken it the last 2 years. 3rd time's a charm, though. Am I right?
Yeah, but it ain't going to be a 3rd time for them. We got to bring it back home, because you're right, 3rd time will be a charm for them, but we got to bring it back home. We won 4 in a row, and now we lost 2 in a row. So we got to stop their streak and start us a new streak, and we're going to start working on that Saturday.
They bring with them a pretty hard-hitting defense, but offense this year has been absolutely electric. Tell me about how you plan on combating that.
Well, they do have a great defense, and a lot of times people say great defenses stop great offenses. So that's why you play the games, and we expect to put points up. But we also respect them that they got a great defense and a great coach. And but we're going to try to put some points up, which nobody hardly does on those guys. So we're going to try to be the one to do it. It's just a great environment, great atmosphere, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
Thank you so much, Coach. I wish you the best of luck. And kickoff is set for 2:30 on Saturday. We'll see you there. But for now, I'll send it back to you in studio, Carl.
Not to Carl. Thank you so much, Cam. Now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. Governor Kay Ivey in Albertville today. Find out why coming up in our evening newscast. Another story you're just not going to want to miss. The official return of the Space Line here in Huntsville. Get those details coming up. And finally, holiday season is just around the corner. Find out what the demand is for local charities ahead of the season. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And now it is time, of course. What is it time for? Facebook Fun. Welcome everyone to the Facebook Fun segment of Before the Four. Our 48 Facebook question of the day was, how old is too old to go trick-or-treating? And I don't think there is an age limit on trick-or-treating, honestly, personally, but what I want to know is what you all had to say, and let's see. Erica said, no such thing as too old. That's what I just said, Erica. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Thank you so much for commenting. Byron said, people should enjoy life. Ain't no age limit on having fun. 100% agree with that. Thank you so much for commenting. Evelyn said, what if I'm 23 and genuinely want to go trick-or-treating so bad? Is that weird? I just miss it so much. I'm going to be Woodstock. My boyfriend is Snoopy. That is awesome. Evelyn, you should go trick-or-treating. You absolutely should. Thank you for commenting. Caitlin, as long as they are respectful, I'd much rather see high schoolers trick-or-treating than other things. Absolutely true. Thank you for commenting. And then Leslie said, if you come to my house, you're getting candy. Leslie, thank you so much for commenting. Awesome comments there, but that is about all the time I have in today's Before the Four. But of course, I want to thank you for sticking around with me and spending little of your Thursday afternoon with me. And of course, how we always like to end this, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.